Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jim Payne. I am the mayor of Superior, and it is my honor to be here today to introduce to you the next Congresswoman from the 7th Congressional District of the state of Wisconsin, Margaret Engebretson. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about me because I never missed that opportunity. I am a graduate of the UW Superior History program, so is Margaret. I'm a veteran of the United States military, so is Margaret. I chose this to live in the city of Superior, so did Margaret. And I am proud to serve as an elected official here in Northwest Wisconsin, and I know that's the driving factor for her seeking to serve in the United States Congress. I want to tell you a little bit about why I intend to support Margaret throughout this entire campaign and on Election Day, and why we need her as our next Congresswoman. The fact is, I ran for mayor on a platform of a city that works for everyone. I believe that every single person matters, every single person needs a voice, and every single person needs elected officials working for them. Unfortunately, we're not living in a country that works for everyone right now. We're not living in a country that works for working families that are trying to earn livable wages so that they can support their families and make an honest living. We're not working in a country that works for women who only want safety and equality in the workplace and in their day-to-day lives. We're not working for, our country doesn't work for the LGBT community that just wants respect and fairness and the ability to love the people that they love. We're not living in a country that treats veterans fairly and gives them the benefits and the opportunities that they deserve. And we're not living in a country that's working for our environment. Our entire planet is in peril from the threat of climate change. We need a voice to represent every single person, and Margaret is that voice. We know that not because of any promises she's made or going to make in the campaign. We know it because of the way that she has lived her life and shown us her values in everything she has done for this community in Wisconsin. She is a proud veteran of the United States military for more than 2 decades. She's an accomplished attorney, an alumnus of our local university, and again has shown her values in everything she's done. She's going to put every minute of every day working for you and me in Northwest Wisconsin and the people of the United States. And that's why it is my pleasure and my privilege to introduce to you the next Congresswoman from the 7th Congressional District, Margaret Engebretson.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here today, and thank you, Mayor Jim Payne, for your gracious introduction and your support. Hello, everyone. I'm Margaret Engebretson, and I'm excited to announce today that I'm running for United States Congress to represent the 7th Congressional District here in the great state of Wisconsin. I, perhaps like many of you in this room, woke up on November 9th, 2016, and felt devastated. I was devastated, saddened, and very concerned about our country's future. To me, that election took us in a direction that is backward-looking and restrictive. We need, and I believe most people have a deep desire, to move forward and progress, to become the best version of ourselves, with every citizen having the security and the opportunity to live up to their highest potential. So I took stock of what my role was and take responsibility for it. I asked myself, what more should I have done to ensure that we have better leaders in our state, in our district, and for our nation? For me, it was a profound moment. That sparked off this journey. It included me joining the Democratic County Party in Polk. I became a delegate. I became its secretary. And I became a party organizer for the state party. I also went to Emerge Wisconsin, which trains Democratic women to run for office. This part of the journey has led me to be standing before you today asking for your support to be your representative in Washington, D.C. I also want to tell you a bit about what motivates me. What is the common thread throughout my life that has been my prime mover? It is a deep love, gratefulness, and sense of obligation and duty to my country. For as long as I can remember, I always wanted to put my mind, my heart, and my hands toward that service. Service to country comes in thousands of ways. Everyone in this room does it. Teachers, who play a most vital role educating our people of all ages. Farmers, who raise our nation's food. The auto mechanic that maintains our vehicles that carry about the members of a community. For me, I first chose to serve by enlisting in the U.S. Navy. I did that right after graduation. It was in boot camp where I learned the Navy's core values of honor, courage, commitment. I served 3 years on active duty and 21 more as a guardsman and reservist. I retired as a master sergeant in 2015 from the Minnesota Air National Guard's 148th Fighter Wing right next door in Duluth, Minnesota. Also, after I completed my 3-year active duty enlistment, I set out on my civilian path. I hired on as a locomotive electrician and later a train dispatcher for the Burlington Northern Railroad. After about 7 years, I decided to pursue my bachelor's degree. So I applied to the University of Wisconsin in Superior. I majored in history, and because I'm a practical sort, I minored in business. I then hired on as a deputy sheriff of corrections in St. Louis County in Duluth. I worked there about 2.5 years to save some money, gather some more skills, and serve as part of my Twin Ports community. I then went to law school at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. I graduated from there in 2010 and then moved to Balsam Lake in Polk County, Wisconsin. I went there so I could spend more time with my parents who needed more assistance and spend more time with them. I also opened up Engebretson Law Office. So now you know a little bit about what motivates me and what I've been up to so far in my life. Now I want to tell you why I think I'm the right representative to represent the 7th Congressional District in Washington, D.C., right here and right now in 2018. So last year was quite the year, wasn't it? We have been bombarded with so much information. It is overwhelming. Even if it were your full-time job to pay attention to all the policy changes, all the news that's coming out, you couldn't really do it. I know, because I tried to take it all in. As I did, though, I became more and more concerned for the future of our republic, our very democracy. By many measures, our democratic system is eroding. It has happened slowly but surely. We're supposed to be going in the other direction, striving towards progress, toward a more equal, secure, and prosperous future. One of the main contributors to this erosion is the shift in our politics. Especially since the wave elections of 2010 that brought us Sean Duffy, the House of Representatives has gotten more dysfunctional and less responsive to the wants and needs of the majority of its constituents. We've had an increase in unnecessary and sometimes snowballing hyperpartisanship. There's been threats to force the U.S. to default on its debt ceiling crises, important legislation regarding health care, climate change, and immigration gets stalled and killed. Another contributor is the flood of big money into our politics. Lots of it, we don't even know where it comes from. It simply should not be that the best funded candidate almost always wins. Just think about all the great patriotic men and women with great ideas who never even contemplate about running because of this reason alone. Then there's the viciousness at which we attack our political rivals. To me, we have crossed a very pernicious line here, where the folks you're running against aren't simply people you disagree with on how to best serve your districts. They must be vilified, demolished, and disparaged. when, after the 2016 election, I saw elected officials downplaying the attack on the election process that is the very heart of our democracy, I knew a line that must never be crossed had indeed been crossed. Instead of a unified American response to protect the electoral integrity, we were encouraged to divide into camps with different sets of facts as our weapons and our shields. I believe most Americans crave unity and fellowship with one another and are weary of cynical politicians who seek to win at all costs, even if it means starving the better angels in our nature. To this day, I keep going back to the question I've had since Election Day. Don't these people feel any duty to uphold their oaths of office? I simply cannot abide by it. I can't abide by it, not for me and not for all the great people of this nation that I love with all my heart. The bottom line is this. We enter into a contract with our elected officials. We vote for them or not. They swear an oath while we, the good people, do our part. We have work to do and lots of it. We have to earn money, raise our children, care for elderly parents, volunteer at the potluck supper at our church, grow community gardens. Our representatives, meanwhile, go to Washington, work on our behalf, and try to make our lives better and safer. They take an oath to support and defend the Constitution and faithfully discharge the duties of their office. That's the nut of it. So I stand here today, a woman of no great wealth, but of great earnestness and determination, in the hope and belief that we can do better than this. When I'm elected to represent you, I pledge to have your back. And at the foundation of that, I pledge to adhere to my oath of office to the best of my ability. I pledge to have your back by working to regain your trust that elected officials can and will do the right thing, even if no one is looking. I pledge to have your back by keeping your best interest at the forefront, not those of special interest groups and lobbyists. I pledge to have your back by seeking out solutions to start lessening the chasm of wealth and income inequality between the majority of us and those at the very tippy top of the scale. Not by bringing them down, but by finding ways to lift us up. I pledge to have your back by joining with my future colleagues to work towards securing decent, affordable health care for every American. I believe that not only is it a moral and ethical imperative, it's a smart thing to do. We end up spending billions more in costs just because of the failure to make this commitment to universal health care. And I end with this pledge today, though certainly not the least. I pledge to have your back by performing my constitutional role as a member of Congress. As stated in Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution, Congress is a co-equal branch of government designed to check and balance the other two. Right now, the majority in Congress is spectacularly failing in that regard. I have a history of service to this nation with 24 years of military service. I have worked in government, large and small corporations. I've been union and non-union. And I have a good educational foundation in history, business, and law. And I have a proven track record of being deliberate, thoughtful, making plans, executing them, and all with a connection of service to this country. I am passionate about protecting people, about sticking up for folks and doing the right thing. I want to use these skills on behalf of northern and western Wisconsin. As you know, the other side has had a gerrymandered assisted hold on this district since Representative David Obey retired. They think they have a lock on it. Let's prove them and Sean Duffy wrong about that. We have a lot of ground to cover though, literally. From here in Douglas County, all the way down to St. Croix, then over to Marathon, up to Florence, and all those other counties in between, and hundreds of miles. And this, among other things, is going to take quite a bit of money. So how do we win when they always will have more money? We win when people talk to their friends and family about the changes we need to make in this country, and those people talk to the people in their lives. We win when we knock on doors, make phone calls, and plant campaign signs in the ground. We win when people donate what they can to the campaign, whether it be time or money or both. Together, with your help, we can bring a dedicated voice for the 7th Congressional District to the United States Congress. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your time.